So, good morning, dear students. Today, our idea is to continue with the topic on cost accounting materials. So, quickly to recapitulate, we discussed that particularly when you're going to carry out a manufacturing activity, the major component of cost is material cost. And just to give you a ballpark number, I told you it can constitute around 60 to 70% of the total cost of a product when you are in a manufacturing sector. So, considering the importance of the material cost, there are quite a few aspects regarding cost control, cost reduction, and all that. Towards that, we discussed about something called the last session about economic order quantity, EOQ. EOQ is a control tool actually. It's a mechanism through which you control your material cost by ordering the quantity which is the most economical. That is, that's a point where when you order a quantity, it will be giving you optimal cost. Mathematically, it has been proven that by applying the formula, which we discussed in the last class, square root of 2 into annual requirement of materials into ordering cost per order divided by carrying cost per unit per annum. This is the formula we discussed in the last session. So applying this formula, if you calculate EOQ, it can be validated that that's a cost which is going to be the optimal cost. So in order to ensure that our ordering is not done as we wish, we have to arrive at an economic order quantity, and accordingly we need to place order for materials in order to optimize the overall cost. And more importantly, we also discussed that there are three components of cost with respect to material cost. One is the purchase cost, another is the ordering cost, another is the carrying cost. The carrying purchase cost, I said, it constitutes purchase price, all direct costs associated with purchase like insurance, if any, freight, carriage inwards, whatever cost you may incur to bring the material to your current location condition, that is your factory, warehouse, etc. All the costs has to be added to the cost of material in purchase cost. Sometimes you may be importing materials, so import cost, customs duty, all of that goes into the material cost. Secondly, the purchase order. Every time you make an order, there is an associated cost referred to as an ordering cost. That is also a component of overall material cost. And the third thing is about the carrying cost. The carrying cost constitutes three components. One is the insurance cost, one is the cost of capital, and sometimes the warehouse charges cost, etc. is built into it. So carrying cost has got three components in it. So after adding all these three cost components, you have to optimize your cost. That is at the EOQ level. At EOQ level, your carrying cost is a minimal. Because in exams, they do ask this question: when is your carrying cost the minimal? At EOQ point is your minimum carrying cost. Okay. And the other important discussion we had last week was about the tabular EOQ model, where you can calculate EOQ by tabulating the cost for different purchase levels. And when the company from whom you purchase material is going to offer you a discount for different quantity levels, we discussed that example, and you're going to be given discount for different purchase quantity levels. So higher the purchase quantity level, higher the discount. So in that case, you can't apply the formula method. You have to apply the tabular mechanism of method of calculating EOQ. We discussed an example also. Hope you all have fair understanding of that. And today we are going to move on to various levels, the reorder levels and all that in material control. So inventory levels, what we call. To give you an example again, when we are going to identify the quantity of inventory to be purchased and stock, we need to keep these levels in mind. So again, I don't know whether I told you this example earlier. In your home or house, your mother regularly purchases rice for regular consumption for a family. And we discussed about for a family of 4 members, you need on a monthly basis, let us say 20 kg of rice or so. And annually you require around 200 kg, 12 into 20 to 40 kg of rice or so. And we discussed about whether we will be buying the entire quantity in one go or in monthly purchases. And we discussed that it will be on a monthly purchase. Normally, we don't buy the entire quantity in one go because of the cost. You have to put all your money upfront. Not only that, you have to store and all that. Storage cost is there. So I related the same example to a factory environment where you purchase raw material. So here we are going to understand different levels of stock. One is about the maximum level of stock, reorder level of stock, minimum level of stock, danger level of stock. These are the levels of stock which you need to keep in mind while you are focusing on material cost control. See, safety stock, danger level. See, danger level is a level below which you are not supposed to go in terms of stocking your material. Let us now come to the factory environment. In a factory environment, when you go to stock your material, your stock of material should not go below the danger level. Danger level, let us say 1 day consumption is 5 kg, let us say, or 5 units or whatever it may be. And there is something called the lead time. Lead time is the time taken for the supplier to supply you the material. Normally, when you place an order, the supplier will take few days time, one day or 2 days or 3 days or 5 days or whatever it may be. So when you're going to place an order for a material, let us say he's going to take 2 days time. And danger level is a level of, on average, you consume 5 kgs a day or so. So 5 into 2 will give you 10 kgs. That is your danger level. You can't go, your stock level cannot go below that. If it goes below that, there is a danger of your production getting stopped. Your activities can get stopped. And in a factory environment, you can't afford to stop production even for 1 hour. Because there are a lot of workers waiting for the work. You can't even stop work for 1 hour. So that's a dangerous situation. So as accountants, let us take our role. As because I work in a factory and it is a challenging one in its own way. You have to ensure that stock of material is always available, and the stock of material is going to be available properly so that you don't get into a stock out situation. You don't get into a stock out situation. So you need to clearly understand what is your danger level. Then there is something called a safety stock level. Safety stock level is when the stock is coming to a safety stock, you are safe, but you should immediately look at options of building it up. Otherwise, you fall into danger level. So it is danger level is the lowest level. Then comes the safety level, safety stock level. Then comes the minimum level of stock. Okay, so danger level, then you have safety stock level, then you have a minimum level of stock. Minimum level of stock is the one you should always maintain. You always keep track of stock levels. It cannot fall below minimum level. Then you have something called reorder level. Reorder level is the level, the stock, when it reaches that level, you should initiate the reorder proceedings. That is, when your stock is going to reach that reorder level, you should immediately initiate the purchase procedure, purchase whatever mechanism you're following, like placing a purchase order and all that, because it is again going to take 2 days time to prepare a purchase order, 3 days time to deliver, all that has to be factored in mind. Okay, then you should place a purchase order. So that is called reorder level. Then you have something called a maximum level. Maximum level of stock is the level, you can't go beyond that. You are going to stock your materials beyond maximum level, that means you are unnecessarily investing your money into it, and there's no locking of your investment. Not only that, you also have to ensure that you have to provide for adequate storage space and all that, which we discussed earlier. So the carrying cost will become very high when you want to stock the level beyond maximum level. So these are all the various points of stock levels you need to keep in mind. For academic purposes and for practical purposes, we are going to use a formulae to calculate these stock levels. For academic purpose, you'll get question in exam. Calculate maximum level, calculate minimum level, calculate reorder level. All that you'll get in exam. So we are going to understand how to calculate these stock levels by way of different formulae. I'm going to take you through the formulae for that, how to calculate that, and we'll solve a problem on that, how to solve a problem on calculating various levels, stock levels. Okay, so I'll now take you through the formulae which is adopted for calculating various stock levels. I'll show you an Excel sheet. I hope you confirm whether you're able to see the screen. Are you able to see the screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, yeah. So these are all called as inventory levels. So when we talk of inventory levels, what are the different inventory levels? The first is something called reorder level. Reorder level, we are going to use a formula, maximum reorder period into maximum usage, or safety stock plus lead-time consumption or normal usage into minimum stock period plus average delivery time. Let me repeat the formula. Reorder level. I said when the stock reaches the reorder level, you should initiate the procedure for purchase order and all that. And what is that level? That level is reorder level is equal to maximum reorder period. Reorder period is nothing but the lead time. That is the maximum time taken by the supplier to supply material. Maximum reorder period into maximum usage. That is the maximum usage is a usage per day or per whatever. See, you may track it per day basis or per week basis. It's purely your internal requirement of the company only. So maximum reorder period is the maximum time taken for reorder. That is the lead time, what we call. So once you place an order, the supplier is going to take 1 week maximum. So you should consider 7 days stock. So maximum reorder period into maximum usage, that is maximum usage per day. Or alternatively, you can adopt the formula as safety stock levels plus lead time consumption. That is the stock level you should maintain for lead time. That is during the lead time, how much of stock you will consume, or normal usage into minimum stock period plus average delivery time. Okay. Normally, popularly used formula is this. Remember this: maximum reorder period into maximum usage. This is the commonly used formula. The other formula you may normally not use, but for reference I've given here. For academic purpose, the maximum times you use the formula is maximum reorder period into maximum usage. Sometimes this information may not be available, in which case you can use this safety stock level. You have to calculate that. Then lead time consumption or normal usage into minimum stock period plus average delivery time. This is the formula for calculating reorder level. Minimum level, as I said, your stock level cannot go below the minimum level. The formula for calculating minimum level is reorder level minus within bracket average or normal usage into average delivery time. Both average or normal mean the same. Okay, what is average consumption per day? 10 kgs. So average or normal usage is 10 kgs. Average delivery time is the time taken by the supplier to deliver. Maximum lead time is 5 days. Minimum lead time is 3 days. Average lead time is 5 plus 3 by 2, 4 days. Are you able to follow what I'm saying? So minimum level can be calculated by using the formula reorder level, which is calculated here, minus within bracket average or normal usage of material into average delivery time. Coming to maximum level, this is the stock level beyond which you are not supposed to stock your materials. Otherwise, as I said, it's a waste of your money and all that. Investment will go for a cost. You have to invest all your money into that. So don't stock materials beyond maximum level. Maximum level formula is reorder level plus reorder quantity. What is reorder quantity? Any idea? Any guess? What is reorder quantity? When you're going to place a reorder, what is reorder quantity?
Ordering the same quantity another time.
Ordering quantity that is going to take?
No, ordering the same quantity again.
Okay, it's a quantity which you keep ordering regularly, correct? That's what is. Okay.
Yes.
Now, the question is reorder quantity in relation to what we have discussed so far. I want you to just think a minute and tell me what is this concept of reorder quantity. Normally, when you order for material or when you reorder, as you said repeatedly, you make order for quantity. What is the quantity you normally order? Simple actually. What is the quantity you will order every time? Economic order quantity. What is the quantity you will order every time? It is EOQ. இங்க தான் நம்ம மிஸ்டேக் பண்றோம். இங்க தான் இந்த லேர்னிங் வந்து உங்களுக்கு நீங்க ஃபைன் டியூன் பண்ணணும். நம்ம வந்து ஒரு அண்டர்ஸ்டாண்டிங் வரும்போது ஒரு ரீஆர்டர் குவான்டிட்டி நம்ம என்ன பண்றோங்கிறத EOQ நம்ம டிஸ்கஸ் பண்ணியாச்சு ஏற்கனவே இல்லையா? ஸோ உங்களுக்கு அதை ரிலேட் பண்ணணும். இதுதான் முக்கியம் லேர்னிங் ப்ராசஸ்ல. ஸோ ரீஆர்டர் குவான்டிட்டி இஸ் நத்திங் பட் your EOQ. Understood? Here? I hope this is a fairly simple point because whenever you're going to order a quantity, I said that's order quantity is EOQ. Always you should order a EOQ only. Your annual requirement is 5,000 or 6,000 units. Every time you order 500, 600 units, your EOQ. Clear? So the reorder quantity is nothing but your EOQ. Fairly simple one. Hope you understood that. Okay. So your reorder level plus reorder quantity minus minimum consumption. That is minimum consumption per day into minimum reorder period, minimum lead time. Reorder period means lead time. Okay, that is the time taken by the supplier to supply material. Or alternative formula is safety stock plus EOQ. Safety stock level plus EOQ. This is your maximum level. Then coming to average stock level, minimum level of stock plus maximum level of stock by 2. or minimum level of stock plus half reorder quantity. Very simple formula, minimum plus maximum by 2 or minimum level plus half reorder quantity. Danger level is average consumption into lead time for emergency purchase. Emergency purchase means the supplier will say 1 day I'll supply, but that could be an extra cost, doesn't matter, but you have to maintain that. Danger level is your level of stock wherein your average consumption into lead time for emergency purchase or minimum consumption into emergency delivery time. Minimum consumption into emergency delivery time. You are able to follow these formulae. So very simple set of formulae is very important. You need to keep this in mind. You have to remember this and apply this formulae for calculating various levels by with a given set of data. With a given set of data. All of you are clear or not? So anything conceptually you like to understand better in what we discussed? We're going to solve a problem now. But before going to solve a problem, kindly let me know if you got any other doubts at this stage on the basis of the discussion we had. All of you are clear? Yeah, very good. So let's proceed to solve a problem now. Okay, this is a problem wherein we are going to calculate reorder level, maximum level. So from the details given below, calculate reorder level, maximum level, minimum level, danger level. Reordering quantity is to be calculated based on the following information. Cost of placing a purchase order 20. Number of units to be purchased during the year 5,000. Purchase price per unit inclusive of transportation, rupees 50. Annual storage cost per unit is rupees 5. Then details of lead time. Average lead time is 10 days, maximum is 15 days, minimum is 6 days, and for emergency purchase 4 days. And rate of consumption, average consumption 15 units per day and maximum consumption is 20 units per day. Okay, so this is the question. So I'll show you how to solve this. First of all, before getting into reorder level or maximum level or anything for that matter, we need to calculate the reordering quantity. This is the question. Reordering quantity is to be calculated based on the following, that is EOQ. Reordering quantity. EOQ. So you all know the formula for calculating EOQ, square root of 2 into annual requirements. So let me put the formula here. One minute. Square root of 2 into annual requirements of material into ordering cost per order, the whole divided by the square root is applicable for all, you know that, the whole divided by cost per unit per annum. Okay. So applying this formula, square root of 2 into what is annual requirement? As per the question, annual
5,000.
requirement, very good, 5,000 into ordering cost per order, 20, the whole divided by cost per unit per annum is 5. So can you solve this? Square root of the whole 2 into annual requirement of 5,000 into 20 by 5. You will get reorder quantity, which is your EOQ.
$200 units.
Sorry,
200 units, sir.
200. Okay. Units. So your EOQ is 200. Clear? All of you are getting this answer? All of you are getting this answer? Any doubt in this EOQ calculation? No? All of you are able to follow the EOQ calculation. Any doubt in that? Clear? So we'll go to the reorder levels now. So the first requirement is we are supposed to calculate what? Reordering level. Reordering quantity is different, reorder level is different. Understand that? Reordering level. Let us note down the formula here. I've given here the reorder level is maximum reorder period into maximum usage. Maximum reorder period into maximum usage. So as per the question, what is the maximum lead time or maximum reorder period? 15 days. We put days itself for easy understanding into maximum usage per day, 20 units. So maximum reorder period is 15 days, maximum usage or delivery period is 15 days and maximum usage is 20 units, so 300 units. So your reorder level is reorder level all the same. Reorder level is 300 units. Are you able to follow this? Clear? Then maximum level. The formula for maximum level. Let us take it here. Reorder level minus. This is the formula for calculating your maximum level. Reorder level, we already calculated now 300 units. Minus average or normal usage, 15 units per day, into average delivery time. Average delivery time is 10 days. So 300 units minus 150 units. So let me repeat the calculation. Maximum level is equal to reorder level minus within bracket average or normal usage into average delivery time. So that is going to give you 150 units. Clear or not? Kindly acknowledge so that I am aware that you are clear.
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
So otherwise, no, it becomes difficult for me. So kindly acknowledge. Okay. So then it will be easier for me to move on. So next one is they are asking us to calculate minimum level. So what is the formula for minimum level? Minimum level, this is the formula. So I'll put down the formula here for your easy understanding. So minimum level is equal to reorder level minus within bracket average or normal usage into average delivery time. We all know reorder level is 300 minus within bracket average or normal usage is 15 units per day into average delivery time, which is given as 10 days. You get how many units? Minimum level. So maximum level. So we have calculated maximum level, which is the formula I gave you, and then reorder level minus average or normal usage into. I think there's some small confusion. Minimum level formula. We're getting the same answer. 1 minute. Level, let me confirm the formula again. Minimum level, the formula is, I think, correct. 1 minute. Let me check the formula again. 1 minute. Because no. Maximum level is here. I don't know what formula I used. Have we calculated maximum level? Yeah. This is actually the formula for minimum level. Okay. Maximum level formula I'll show you once again. I've applied the wrong formula. Okay, let me repeat this, carefully understand. Minimum level is fine. Minimum level formula this carefully. Minimum level formula is perfect. Reorder level minus average or normal usage into average delivery time. So that's the minimum level. We have calculated correctly. Minimum level is equal to reorder level minus average or normal usage into average delivery time. Maximum level formula is different. It's here. I have taken the wrong formula. This is the formula. Let us apply this formula for maximum level. Maximum level formula is this. Reorder level. What is reorder level? We got reorder level as 300 plus what is reorder quantity? UOQ. What is the reorder quantity we got? UOQ quantity 200.
200.
200. Okay, so 300 plus 200. So this is the formula for calculating maximum level. Plus 200 plus minus rather minus, carefully observe the formula, reorder level plus reorder quantity minus minimum consumption. What is the minimum consumption? What is the minimum consumption as per the question? So carefully observe, students, they have given average as 15 and minimum maximum as 20. That means minimum is what? Normally average means minimum plus maximum by 2. So they are given average as 15 and maximum as 20. What is the minimum?
10.
Good. It's 10. So minimum consumption 10 into minimum reorder period. Minimum reorder period is given 6. So this is the formula for calculating maximum level. Let me repeat the formula. Maximum level is equal to reorder level plus reorder quantity minus minimum consumption into minimum reorder period. So maximum level is calculated as, here it is. Level is already known as 300 units, as calculated as reorder level 300 units plus reorder quantity is UOQ 200 units minus within bracket minimum consumption is 10 units, which is not directly given. They've given maximum consumption, they've given average consumption. So that you get minimum consumption is 10 into minimum reorder period is 6. Okay, clear? So you get what? Tell me this. This is equal to what? 300 plus 200 minus 10 into 6. What do you get?
440 units, sir.
440 units. Correct. 440 units is the maximum level. So we got reorder level as 300, maximum level as 440, minimum level as 150. So they also asked us to calculate danger level. What is the formula for danger level? Let us take the formula for danger level. Average consumption into lead time for emergency purchase. This is one of the formula, okay? And I'll also tell you one more thing. In exam, if you know both the formula and data is available to calculate both, you can actually calculate both also. But if there is no time for you, you stop with one. But let us say you have some time, then you can actually say OR. You can also show the OR calculation. Okay, you can also show the OR calculation. So average consumption is what? 15 units per day into lead time for emergency purchase is given as 4 days. 60 units. So this is your answer for danger level. The danger level is 60 units. Are you able to follow the calculation?
Yes, sir.
All of you are clear? So the formula what I gave you for maximum level, minimum level and all that, it's very, very simple and direct. You have to apply those formulae and arrive at the answer without much of an issue. Because this is one of the good areas to score marks. You should remember the formula. In fact, as a student, I had a tough time in memorizing the formula because memorizing is always a challenging job. I always used to worry about this formula. And every exam, a question adequately they ask. Okay, so remembering the formula becomes very important. So that is the time when you will forget actually. So reorder level calculate panona, edo formula la nyapom. but you have to be thorough in the formula. So write down, practice it, memorize it, remember it. So as I keep saying, read, recollect, remember. Read multiple times, keep remembering it and recollecting it. Recollecting is an exercise for your mind brain. Many of the students today, they have to, or rather they don't do this recollection process. Recollection process பண்ணாதனால தான் என்ன ஆகுது, எல்லாம் evaporate ஆயிடுது. நம்ம படிச்சதெல்லாம் மறந்து போயிருக்கு. அது காரணமே வந்து இப்போ நான் அடிக்கடி ஐ ரிலேட் திஸ் டு நார்மலி தமிழ் செய்யுள். தமிழ்ல வந்து நம்ம ஸ்கூல்ல எல்லாம் செய்யுள்னு நம்ம படிப்போம், ஞாபகம் இருக்கா? All remember that செய்யுள், we used to read செய்யுள் in Tamil. அந்த செய்யுள் வந்து நீங்க என்ன பண்ணணும், அந்த செய்யுளை வந்து நீங்க மனப்பாடம் பண்ணி தான் வரும். நீங்க ஓன் வேர்ட்ஸ்ல எழுத முடியுமா செய்யுள? அதே மீனிங் தான் வருது, நான் ஓன் வேர்ட்ஸ்ல நான் எழுத முடியுமா கவிதை மாதிரி? எழுத முடியாது. பிகாஸ் செய்யுள் is meant to be given in the same form. So you are reading it multiple times and you are trying to remember it. And you have to write it in the exam. Same thing happens here. In a professional course also, you should read, remember, recollect and write in the exam. So the recollection process is challenging. That is where, since it's challenging, many of us tend to avoid it. அப்புறம் பார்த்துக்கலாம், பரிட்சை போது எப்படி ஞாபகம் வரும், நம்ம எல்லாம் புத்திசாலி, நம்ம பரிட்சை போது எப்படி ஞாபகம் வந்துடும் அப்படின்னு நம்ம பரீட்சைக்கு போகும்போது என்ன மறந்து போயிடும். நம்ம புத்திசாலி தான், இன்டெலிஜென்ட், நோ டவுட், பட் அந்த ப்ரெஷர் மறந்து போயிடும். ஸோ அதுக்கு மல்டிபிள் டைம்ஸ் நீங்க ரீட் பண்ணி ரிமெம்பர் பண்ணி ரிகலெக்ட் பண்ணாதான் அந்த ஃபார்முலா டக்குன்னு ஹேண்டியா வரும். ஓகே, ஸோ யூ ஹேவ் டு ஸ்பெண்ட் குவாலிட்டி டைம் in practicing the formula and getting the answers by writing the formula and all that. Okay, clear? Any doubts at this stage? Okay, clear? Shall we proceed further? Yeah. So this is, I have also done, is there anyone who has already seen my video class on this topic? On materials? Did you see my video class on materials? Any one of you? I have uploaded the video class on materials, I guess, in our app. Is there anyone who has seen that video class?
Sir, I finished reading, seeing, sir.
Sorry? Sorry, the voice breaker. Jairanjani, you have seen the video class on materials?
Yes, sir.
Very good, very good. Ningama Srinidhi, you have seen my video class on materials?
No, sir.
No? Okay. Sir, Ninga sir, Pathutela?
Yes, sir.
Pathutela? Okay, good. Sweta, nee pathiyama?
Sir, no, sir.
Illa. Abhinaya, pathutiyama?
No, sir.
No. Okay. Parmavadiyum. Video class we have solved the problems and all that. Live class see, very interestingly, you're all in the batch which has got a dual advantage of a live session and the video classes. So the advantage is for all of us. For all of us, live class I'll be solving 1 or 2 problems to make you understand better. One is that. The second thing is the video class is also there where I have solved many problems. You can go through that. Similar problems I have solved also. So combination of video class plus live class will make you completely understand the topic. Now, in live class, we have to keep moving on because there are so many topics, so many aspects to be covered. One topic at the video class, we have 5 problems solved, live class, 5 problems solved. Yeah. So, particularly, there is no advantage. So, I will be moving on from here. I'll do 1 or 2 problems on each topic for making you understand that. And after that, I'll be moving on to other aspects. All of you are comfortable with this approach? Yeah,
Sir.
Does it help all of us? Yeah, because we can cover more topics, more aspects, and I'm also solving some problems here in the class for better understanding. And I have solved many problems in the video class also. So both combination of both would make you completely, excellent. I don't think anything else is required. You have everything in place. Okay, that's the whole idea, right? So we'll cover now a few more aspects of inventory. There's few things I want to cover before we could move on to other topics. There are few things you need to understand as far as material control is concerned. There are 2 types or systems of inventory control in terms of mechanism, what we call normally. One is the perpetual inventory system. Very important system of inventory control is perpetual inventory system, which involves regular stock taking, physical stock taking. Normally for inventory control, you are supposed to carry out physical stocking. It's called continuous stocking. Large enterprises, they have to have this concept of perpetual inventory system. Perpetual inventory system என்ன advantage அப்படின்னா, they continuously monitor various physical stock levels against records and try to reconcile. இப்போ உங்களுக்கு stock records பொறுத்த வரைக்கும், quickly I'll tell you there are two important things you need to know. One is called the bin card, another is called the stores ledger. With respect to stock control, இதெல்லாம் எக்ஸாம்லயும் வரும். அதனாலதான் நான் ரொம்ப taking time to explain these things. A bin card and the stores ledger. A bin card is a card which is attached to the stock. Normally, you know what is a bin. A bin is a box. If you're going to maintain stock in a box or a bag or whatever, it is called a bin. So typically large organizations, they keep inventory bins or boxes. And against each bin or box, there will be a card, yellow color card normally or whatever. In this card, the storekeeper will maintain this bin and bin card. And he will keep recording until received, until issued for production. It will receive, until issued for production. So at any point of time, you go and ask that inventory guy, storeroom guy. He will tell you from looking at the bin card. Stock developer, sir, we have 200 units, sir. So he'll be able to immediately answer you by looking at the bin card, what is the quantity balance? Because receipts issued balance. Purchases, which is receipts, issued for production, balance stock. So any point of time, he'll be able to give a quantitative information regarding stock available. That is what we normally refer to as a bin card. This is an essential part of the inventory control system, perpetual inventory control system. The second important control system is maintaining a stores ledger and continuous stock taking. Continuous stock taking means almost on a, I cannot say it's daily basis. Practically, it's not possible to carry on daily. Some companies may still have that also. Imagine a case of jewelry and all. They have to do daily stock taking because they need to ensure that there's no stock lost or whatever it is. But you can imagine a large factory, they can carry out inventory verification, continuous stock taking, physical verification, what I refer to. What they will do is they'll come and physically verify the stock and compare it with the quantity in the bin card. It has to match, it has to reconcile. That is a control part, correct? Now, bin card la 200 quantity irukna physical 200 irukuma irukudada. Yes, it has to be 200. So it's a very important control system. Then you have something called a stores ledger. A stores ledger is nothing but maintaining a record for each item of store in terms of quantity as well as value. FIFO method of accounting for stock, FIFO, LIFO, weighted average method. It's normally referred to as valuation of stock solo. But this is the mechanism or methodology through which you issue stock for production purposes. So that is what we refer to as stores ledger. So the quantity and value both are covered in a stores ledger. So there are three important checkpoints: bin card quantity, physical stock taking quantity, and stores ledger quantity. All should tie up. In stores ledger also you have receipts issued for production and balance. If you have done it earlier, you may be aware that you have three important columns. One is column for receipts of material, column for, so for each item of material, they'll have a ledger. So item X, receipts issued for production, then closing balance. In receipts, you'll have quantity rate value. Correct? Quantity rate value. Again, in issues, you'll have quantity rate value. And balance, you'll have quantity rate value. Depending on FIFO method or LIFO method or weighted average method of valuation, you have to keep this stock ledger, stores ledger. So the quantity as per stores ledger, whatever mentioned in stores ledger, quantity as per bin card, and quantity as per physical stock, continuous stocking, all should match. Then your inventory control system is robust. If not, then you have to reconcile why there is a difference, why there is a time difference basically. Where is the place where the record is first happening? Bin card. The next place where the record happens is stores ledger. Stores ledger is maintained by who? Accountant, cost accountant or accountant. Bin card is maintained by stores keeper. So these are two different people, two different locations, and so there is bound to be some difference because the storekeeper has to do a QC check, accept the material, and then only the record will go to accounts. So there will be a time gap like BRS Mari. So stores ledger ko, bin card ko, there will be a difference which you have to keep reconciling on a day-to-day basis or a periodical basis. So if you have all these three things done in a proper manner, then you have an excellent system of inventory control. In fact, they may ask you an exam question, what is meant by perpetual inventory system? Features of perpetual inventory system. This is what you need to understand as three components of a perpetual inventory system: bin card, stores ledger, continuous stock. Understood or not? Clear? Then we have something called various stock control levels. I'm sure you would have heard of something called ABC analysis of stock control or ABC mechanism of stock control. Any idea what is ABC? ABC control for inventory and so more popular. There are so many things, but most popular is, in my view, ABC analysis of inventory control. Any idea what is ABC analysis of inventory control?
So the stock is ranked according to its value.
Okay, good. So stock is tracked according to the value. So the control of stock is based on the value of the material. You're right. So here, ABC stands for what? Any idea? ABC analysis. ABC stands for what? Actually an acronym சொல்லுவோம் இல்லையா, ஒரு short form of an expanded version. இதோட ஒரு short form தான் ABC. Okay, it's called always better control. Always better control. அதோட ஒரு short form தான் ABC analysis. It's very simple. Okay, so always better control ஓட concept என்ன அப்படின்னா, as you said, you categorize your material. I'll show you the Excel. Be easy for you to understand. Excel sheet, are you able to see?
Yes, sir.
Okay, before proceeding to that, I'll show you the stores ledger, how it looks for easy understanding. You would have seen this: particulars, receipts, issues to production, in receipts you'll have quantity received, price, value. Same thing happens in quantity, price, value. Quantity, price, value. So here you can maintain it under FIFO method or LIFO method or whatever it is. So for particulars, normally you can also have a column for date. Date on 1/11/2021 purchases. For example, okay, 100 units, price 5, value 500. You bought 100 units, no issues to production. So quantity is, balance is 100, 500. So on 1st November, you have 100 units in stock at a price of 5, value is 500. Then again on 2nd November, you are purchasing 200 units at 6 rupees per unit. And we are issuing in FIFO method. Let us say FIFO, first in, first out. First in, first out. So you are going to use out of the first material 50 units. And at what price? The first purchase price was 5. So you have to use it 5, 250. So closing balances, out of 100, you use 50. 50 at 5, which is in your balance. And out of this 200, you have not used anything. So 200 is going to be in balance at 6,200. So let me repeat, when you are going to follow FIFO method of valuation of inventory, first in, first out is a concept. Whatever material has been purchased first will be used first. So you have 100 units first purchased at 5 rupees per unit. Now, if it is at 5 per unit, 100 into 5, 500 you bought it, and you are going to issue 50 units. So 50 into 5, 250 units. The closing balance is going to be, out of 100, 50 has been utilized. Balance 50 at 5, 250, and this 200 is a fresh purchase at 6 rupees per unit. So 200 into 6, 1,200. This is an example. Before means reverse will happen. Last in, first out, whatever you have been used, and then we have weighted average and all that. I'm not getting into that in too much of detail because most of you would have done that at the foundation level or your degree level. So without getting into too much of that, I will move on to ABC analysis. This ABC analysis control system. ABC analysis, you categorize your material into category.
Excel stuck ஆயிருக்கு சார்.
Stuck ஆயிருக்கா ஒரு நிமிஷம். Excel sheet is not visible.
Visible அந்த 200ல நிக்குது சார். இல்ல எனக்கு மட்டும் இஷ்யூவா இல்ல
என்னப்பா?
எனக்கு மட்டும் அந்த இஷ்யூவா என்னன்னு தெரியல.
ஒரு நிமிஷம். இப்போ தெரியுதா?
இன்னும் விசிபிள் ஆகல.
ஒரு நிமிஷம். I'll share this again. No?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
Good. So when you talk of ABC control, always better control analysis, you have category A. Now very important, quantity, value. So both aspects are coming here. Quantity of material, value of material. Quantity would be, now the highest control should be those where the quantity is less but value is the highest out of the total value. For easy understanding, okay? So you have a category of material where your quantity is only 10%, but the value is 70%. You have B 20% quantity, 20% value, and you have C 70% quantity and 10% value. So where will be your focus? Control focus should be where? Your control focus should be on this. And again, I normally say this example: in your home, your mother would like to have adequate inventory control. So if you want to categorize your material in your home, in your kitchen, which is a high value item in your kitchen, normally. For kitchen use பண்ற ஐட்டம்ல எது high value? High value na comparatively. Come Jayranjani, you said something? For kitchen
Rice and dal, sir.
Rice, okay, அப்புறம்?
Dal.
Oil.
Oil and dal.
Oil and dal. Okay, good. Fine, good. அப்புறம் வேற என்ன high value items? Comparatively, rice எல்லாம் கரெக்ட் தான் நீங்க சொன்ன ரைஸ் ஆயில் எல்லாம் நல்ல வேல்யூ இருக்கு, டால்க்கும் வேல்யூ இருக்கு, இதெல்லாம் பண்ணா விலை ஒரு கிலோ 150 ரூபா இல்லையா? ஸோ ஹை வேல்யூ ஐட்டம்ஸ் தான் எல்லாமே. அண்ட் அதுக்கு மேல ஒரு சில ஐட்டம்ஸ்லாம் இருக்கும் கிச்சன்ல. கிச்சன்னா
Cashews, sir.
Cashews and dry fruits. Your mother, I normally tell this, I would have told this also. Your mother is the best cost accountant. Your mother is the best finance manager. Your mother is the best management accountant. Do you agree or you disagree? Okay, father does a different job, but in a home, I'm a homemaker, சொல்றோம் இல்ல ஒரு அம்மா வீட்ல என்ன பண்ணுவாங்கன்னு பார்த்தா, she is the one who controls everything. She manages the family. Very tough. Correct? So inflow, outflow, cash flow management, working capital management, எல்லாம் உங்க அம்மாட்ட கத்துக்கலாம் நீங்க. அம்மா எப்படிமா ஒர்க்கிங் கேபிட்டல் மேனேஜ்மெண்ட் பண்றீங்க, எப்படிமா கேஷ் ஃப்ளோ மேனேஜ் பண்றீங்க அப்படின்னு நீங்க உங்க அம்மாட்ட கத்துக்கலாம். நிஜமாலே your mother will teach you better than me. The point is like this: when your mother is going to have control over inventory, the dry fruits, as you said, the cashews or whatever raisins or whatever you may use in cooking, that is the one which she'll have adequate control, maximum control. Investmentum adha dhaan track பண்ணனும், ஏன்னா money will get blocked. So the A category of materials, அப்படிங்கிறதுக்கு நான் example கொடுக்குறேன் உங்களுக்கு. So when you go to your, you will find easily in your kitchen groundnut, but you'll never find cashew nut. Only your mother know where she has kept. நீங்க எங்க தேடினாலும் cashew nut கிடைக்காது. நீங்க அம்மாட்ட போய் கேட்டா, அம்மா எங்கம்மா cashew காணோம், எங்க வச்சிருக்கேன், இல்ல வேற இடத்துல வச்சிருக்கேன் அப்படின்பாங்க. ஏன்னா கண்ட்ரோல். இதே ஒரு ஃபேக்டரி என்விரான்மெண்ட்ல you relate it. And you will observe that there are a lot of high value materials where there has to be adequate control, everyday checking. Or equipment or item would value on the 10,000 or a material or unit. So you have to have adequate control over such materials which constitutes high value. That is the basic concept behind this ABC analysis, are always better control. So here, very importantly, you need to understand that you need to control your materials by categorizing them into three. A category of material constitutes 10% quantity and 70% value. B category of material constitutes 20% of quantity and 20% of value. And C category constitutes 70% of quantity. High quantity levels, nut, bolt, screw, ani, high quantity levels, but only value wise 10%. So control need not be too much on that. This is how you need to establish adequate control over your materials. And not only that, I also need to highlight the importance of investment into it. Since the large amount of money gets blocked into a category of items, you need to ensure that you are maintaining proper control over that. So activity-based ABC analysis brings in the concept of always better control by tracking the inventory levels for these three categories of materials ABC. So more importantly, you need to understand that with respect to ABC analysis, you also have to control your cost by investing lesser amount because valuation is very high. Okay, so ABC analysis is a very important concept in control of cost. And with respect to A category of items, A items, exam mark or B items, C items. Your mukiyaana table na kodukka poren ungalku very strict control. Control, loose or light control, less control. Then no safety stock. In safety stock, high cost. Use you cannot maintain. So accordingly, you have to plan your reorder. Low safety stock. Safety stock. Okay. With respect to maximum follow, stock quality, maximum follow and spending, expediting the supply. You cannot have safety stock. Periodic follow. The exceptional cases follow. If you don't get it only, you'll follow. Otherwise, you don't worry about it because you have a lot of stock. No issues. Rigorous value analysis. Do a rigorous value analysis and moderate value analysis. You got minimum value analysis or lesser. Okay, all of you understood these points, very important points. You have to quote this in exam, then you'll get very good marks for this. Exam your question normally handled by senior level people, senior level guys, middle management, and officer level, junior level. Junior level. The junior level staff will handle this. The table is important. You exam report panungo. This is how you categorize your inventory and this is how you control your inventory with respect to the aspect of ABC analysis. Are you able to follow or not? Any doubt on this? Any doubt on this? All of you are clear? Kindly acknowledge. Monday attendo, thumbs up video sir, super sir, 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 good sir, understood. Silent Indians silent silent ஒரு மீட்டிங் போறாலும் சைலண்டா உட்காந்துரும். எங்க போனாலும் நம்ம பின்னாடி போய் லாஸ்ட் ஸ்கூல்லயே ஆரம்பிச்ச பிரச்சனை இது இல்லையா, லாஸ்ட் பெஞ்ச்ல லாஸ்ட் சீட் ஃப்ரண்ட்ல உட்காந்து டீச்சர் நம்ம கேள்வி கேட்டுருவாங்கன்னு பயந்து போய் என்ன பண்ணுவோம், இது எல்லாருக்கும் அப்ளிகபிள். நம்ம கடைசி சீட்ல போய் எங்கேயா ஓரமா உட்காந்துப்போம் டீச்சருக்கே தெரியாம. டீச்சர் எங்கேயா பார்த்தா என்னப்பா ஆன்சர் பண்ணுப்பா அப்படின்ட்டாங்கன்னா பிரச்சனை. நான்லாம் வந்து பின்னாடி தான் உட்காந்துருப்பேன் லாஸ்ட் பெஞ்சஸ். என்னன்னா ரீசன் என்னன்னா கொஞ்சம் ஹைட், ஸ்கூல்ல எல்லாம் அப்படிதான் உட்காந்து வைப்பாங்க. கொஞ்சம் ஹைட்டா இருக்கிறவங்க எல்லாம் அவ பின்னாடி உட்காருப்பா அப்படின்றாங்க. ஸோ நான்லாம் கொஞ்சம் ஹைட்டுங்கிறதுனால லாஸ்ட் பெஞ்ச். அங்க டீச்சர் பாடம் எடுத்துருப்பாங்க. பர்டிகுலர்லி சில சப்ஜெக்ட்ஸ் எல்லாம் வந்து ஒண்ணுமே புரியாது. என்ன எந்த சப்ஜெக்ட்லாம் புரியாது, ஹிஸ்டரி, பிசிக்ஸ், இதெல்லாம் பாவம் டீச்சர் கதறி எடுப்பாங்க. நமக்கு ஒன்றும் மண்டையில ஏறாது. அந்த மாதிரி பின்னாடி போய் உட்காந்தா என்ன ஏறும், ஃப்ரண்ட்ல உட்காந்தா கொஞ்சம் நல்லா புரியும். உண்மையிலேயே இன்னைக்கு நான் யோசிக்கிறேன். பட் இதே ரஜினிகாந்த் படம்னா ஃப்ரண்ட் சீட்ல உட்காந்து விசில் அடிப்போம். ஃப்ரண்ட் ரோல போயிட்டு உட்காந்து அண்ணாத்த படம்லாம் பார்த்துட்டு விசில் அடிச்சுன்னு உட்காந்துருப்போம் ஃப்ரண்ட் ரோல. எங்க ஃப்ரண்ட் சீட் கிடைக்கிறதான்னு பார்ப்போம், இல்ல அது மாதிரி பார்ப்போம். ஓகே, ஜோக்ஸ் அபார்ட். So I want your participation. Okay, don't remain silent. Okay, kindly communicate, kindly utter a word, say yes, okay sir, understood sir, ஏதாவது ஒன்று பண்ணுங்க. ஓகே, அதுதான் இந்த இன்டராக்டிவ் செஷனோட பர்பஸ். நானே பேசிட்டே இருக்கக்கூடாது. I cannot keep on talking. Understood or not?
Yes sir. Yes sir.
Good.
Sir.
Yes, sir.
Very good, very good. Good. I like that. So this is what I want from you, an acknowledgement. புரிஞ்சு சார், புரியலன்னா கேளுங்க. So like this we have different analysis. We have VED analysis, vital, essential, desirable. You categorize your materials into vital, essential, desirable. In FSND analysis, fast moving, slow moving, normal moving, dead stock. PSND analysis, different analysis. Another important analysis I want to highlight before I visit is Pareto analysis. Have you heard of this Pareto analysis? Pareto analysis is an analysis which is referred to as an 80-20 rule. 80-20 rule. 80% of the value of material is basically from 20% of stock level. இதே 3 categories ரெண்டா ஸ்ப்ளிட் ஆகுது, அவ்வளவுதான், வேற ஒன்றும் இல்லை. பட் அது ரொம்ப பாப்புலர் தியரி. The Pareto analysis is a popular theory which applies for many issues in management, many matters with respect to management. Material மட்டும் கிடையாது, many things. ஸ்கூல்ல நம்ம நார்மலா சொல்லுவோம் இல்லையா, 80% of the students create 20% of the students create 80% of the problem. 20% of the students create 80% of the problem. 80% of the students create 20% of the problem. This மாதிரி you can relate this concept of 80-20 rule in many things in your management and academics and whatever it is. Okay, so very popular analysis referred to as Pareto analysis. P-A-R-E-T-O, Pareto analysis. Then, so similarly, we have a few things like this. So your inventory control is basically going to be based on ABC analysis, the most popular one, or as I said, VED analysis or FSND analysis, or for that matter, Pareto analysis. These are some popular analysis and mechanism through which you can control your cost of inventory and all that. Then we have another important aspect in material costing regarding categorization of material, finished goods also for that matter, or raw material for that matter. You categorize it into spoilage, wastage, then you have defectives, spoilage, wastage, and I shouldn't miss anything here. Yeah, scrap. Very important is scrap. So scrap, waste. Yeah, you have waste, scrap, spoilage, defectives. Waste, scrap, spoilage, defectives. Now, there is a fundamental accounting aspect regarding normal and abnormal. You would have heard of that. Normal, wastage, abnormal. Let us take first wastage. Then I'll come to scrap. Very, very important, dear students. இங்கெல்லாம் எக்ஸாம் கொஸ்டின்ஸ் வரும், அதெல்லாம் நான் வந்து கவர் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கேன் கிளாஸ்ல. ஸோ டவுட்ஸ் இருந்தா கேளுங்க. வேஸ்டேஜை பொறுத்த வரைக்கும், வாட் இஸ் அ வேஸ்டேஜ்? இந்த ப்ரொடக்ஷன் ப்ராசஸ் யூ வில் ஜென்ரேட் அ வேஸ்ட். கேன் யூ கிவ் மீ an example? What is the waste that can get generated in a production process? This waste can be classified into normal wastage, abnormal wastage. Normal wastage, abnormal wastage. Normal wastage is not recorded as a separate thing. It is absorbed in the good units in Solu. Normal, the cost of normal wastage. Very important, dear students, carefully understand this point. The cost of normal wastage is absorbed in good units. There is no separate valuation mechanism for normal wastage. To give you an example, normal wastage is natural and inherent to the material. Example is about the chemical. When I want to use a chemical in a production process, the chemical has a tendency to evaporate because of the nature. And the chemical வந்து இப்ப பெட்ரோல் டீசல் தெரியும் உங்களுக்கு. பெட்ரோல் டீசல் என்ன ஆகும்? எவாபரேட் ஆகும். நீங்க உங்க காரோ 2 வீலரோ ஒரு வெயில்ல ஓட்டிங்கன்னா சம்மர்ல 1 லிட்டர் பெட்ரோல் டீசல் போட்டா அது கடைசியில பார்த்தா ஒரு 100 ml வேஸ்ட் ஆயிடும். ஏன்னா எவாபரேட் ஆயிடும் ஹீட்ல. Correct? By nature itself, petrol and diesel is like that. Same thing applies in a factory where some raw material like a chemical, the wastage is unavoidable. The wastage is inherent to the nature of material. Example is evaporation of a chemical, wherein your production process நீங்க ஸ்டாக் பண்ணி வச்சிருப்பீங்க. ஒரு 100 கிலோ வாங்கி வச்சா எடுத்து போய் பார்த்தா 95 kgs தான் வரும். ஏன்னா 5 இன்னொன்று வந்து பாத்தீங்கன்னா shrinkage. நான் வந்து I was working in a factory where we used to buy corn தெரியுமா? corn சோளம். அது வந்து அனிமல் ஃபீட்ஸ் யூஸ் பண்றது. ஸோ ஐ வாஸ் பிரீஃப்லி ஒர்க்கிங் ஃபார் அன் அனிமல் ஃபீட் டிவிஷன். வெரி இன்ட்ரெஸ்டிங் எக்ஸ்பீரியன்ஸ் ஐ ஹேட் தேர். அனிமல் ஃபீட்ஸை பொறுத்த வரைக்கும் அந்த கார்ன் ஒரு பேசிக் சோர்ஸ் ஆஃப் ரா மெட்டீரியல், சோளம். அதை நாங்கள் வாங்குவோம். அந்த கார்னை வாங்கும்போது குவாலிட்டி கண்ட்ரோல் செக் பண்ணி வாங்குவோம். ஏன்னா அதுல மாய்ஸ்சர் கண்டென்ட் கம்மியா இருக்கும். அந்த கார்ன்ல மாய்ஸ்சர் கண்டென்ட் ஜாஸ்தியா இருக்குன்னா அது என்ன ஆகும்னா வெயிட் ஜாஸ்தியா இருக்கும். மாய்ஸ்சர் அதிகமாக வெயிட் ஜாஸ்தியா இருக்கும். வெயிட் ஜாஸ்தினா நான் அந்த மாய்ஸ்சர்ங்கிறது ஈரப்பதம், அதுக்கு போய் நான் பணம் கொடுக்குற மாதிரி ஆயிடும். ஸோ நாங்க என்ன பண்ணுவோம், கியூசி செக் பண்ணும்போது அந்த மாய்ஸ்சர் கண்ட்ரோல் பார்த்து தான் வாங்குவோம். இந்த மாய்ஸ்சருக்கு மேல இருக்கக்கூடாது அப்படின்ட்டு. பட் அதுக்கும் மேல வாங்கினதுக்கு அப்புறம் கூட அது என்ன ஆகும், சில சமயம் ஷ்ரிங்க் ஆகும் கார்ன். அப்ப நான் வந்து ஒரு டன் கார்ன் வாங்கியிருப்பேன், ஒரு 100 kg வாங்கியிருக்கேன்னா 95 kgs தான். ஏன்னா அது நேச்சராகவே என்ன இருக்கு, மாய்ஸ்சர் கண்டென்ட் குறைய என்ன ஆகும். So it's an example. Okay, so this is called a wastage. It's called a normal wastage. The normal wastage is very difficult to control or avoid. It is inherent to the nature of material, so don't go and spend money to control that. You can't do that. It is absorbed in good units. என்ன சொல்றேன்னா, நீங்க 100 kilo of material you buy at 1000 rupees, but after normal wastage you get only 95 kgs as material. So the cost of 95 will become 1000. Are you able to understand? You buy 100 at 1000 rupees and actually you get only 95 because of normal wastage. So what is your actual cost? 95 kgs is 1000 rupees. So that is what we say, there is no separate costing for normal wastage. The cost of normal wastage is absorbed in good units. Understood? But there is something called an abnormal wastage, which happens due to poor handling, accident, or anything of that nature, where it is more of a human error, because of which there is a wastage. So the material handle பண்ணும்போது கீழே போட்டு உடைச்சிட்டீங்க, அப்போ it's abnormal wastage. அந்த மாதிரி abnormal wastage you have to record the cost and identify what is the cost involved, and many times such abnormal loss will be transferred to costing P&L. This is an accounting treatment. Normally, dear students, whenever you get a question in a wastage, you should first write about the meaning of wastage. Second, classification of wastage, normal and abnormal, and explain what is normal, what is abnormal. Third, what is the mechanism for accounting for it. Normal wastage, there is no accounting, whereas for abnormal wastage, it's normally transferred to P&L account, costing P&L account, because that shouldn't affect your cost of product. அதனாலதான் தனியா என்ன பண்ணிருக்கோம், காஸ்டிங் P&L-க்கு டைரக்டா லாஸ் இருக்குன்றது. ஏன்னா எல்லா அப்நார்மல் லாஸையும் நீங்க ப்ராடக்ட் காஸ்ட்ல கொண்டு வந்தீங்கன்னா ப்ராடக்ட் காஸ்ட் கண்ட்ரோல் பண்ண முடியாது. It cannot be competitive. So you have to only focus on the reduction of abnormal loss. You cannot absorb all your abnormal loss cost into your product. Correct? Now, product cost will become too much. You will not be competitive. So that is why you transfer to costing P&L. So meaning of it, classification of it, then accounting aspect, then the final one is responsibility center. Who is going to take responsibility for abnormal loss? It could be a particular department which is responsible for that. So you need to identify the cost sometimes to the particular department and categorize it as an overhead of the particular department. In the poor handling of material is due to some X department, maintenance department. Maintenance department la போட்டு உடைக்கறாங்க எல்லாத்தையும். For example, then the entire abnormal cost will be added to the cost of department called maintenance department. And maintenance department oda cost oda overheads oda add ஆயிடும். So அவங்க தான் responsible அதுக்கு. So responsibility centers will be identified and costs will be added to the particular responsibility centers overheads. That is one way of controlling it or accounting for it. Okay, so you need to fix a responsibility for the head of the responsibility center. Hey, come on, because of you only there is a huge abnormal loss, you should control it, otherwise we will take action. Understood?
Yes,
Yeah, okay, good. So this is about wastage. Then there's something called a scrap. What is a scrap? Any idea? Can you give an example of a scrap?
The life of the material is over.
Okay, right. Yeah, correct. So you generate different types of scrap. You're right. You generate different types of scrap. The material which doesn't find a usage or life is use பண்ண முடியாதுன்னா தூக்கி தான் போடணும். Type of scrap material. Another important type of a scrap is something which generates out which is generated in the production process. More important. நீங்க சொல்றது ஒரு type of scrap, I agree. இன்னொரு type of scrap வந்து production processல generate ஆகும். இப்போ ஒரு ஸ்டீல் மேனுஃபேக்சரர் இருக்காங்கன்னா ஸ்டீல் ஸ்கிராப் வரும். ஆர் இன்னொரு பெஸ்ட் எக்ஸாம்பிள் என்னன்னா, நீங்க வந்து ஒரு ஃபர்னிச்சர் மேக்கர்னா நீங்க உடன் லாக் எல்லாம் யூஸ் பண்ணுவீங்க. உடன் லாக் என்ன இழைச்சு நீங்க ஃபர்னிச்சர் பண்ணுவீங்க. அந்த உடன் லாக் இழைச்சு பண்ணும்போது ஃபர்னிச்சர் பண்ணும்போது என்ன வருதோ அது பேர் ஸ்கிராப்னு பேர். அந்த ஸ்கிராப் பண்ணும்போது அந்த இது பண்ணும்போது ப்ரொடக்ஷன் ப்ராசஸ் யூ கெட் ஸ்கிராப். அந்த ஸ்கிராப் வந்து அகைன் இட் கேன் பி நார்மல் ஆர் அப்நார்மல். இப்போ ஃபர்னிச்சர் பண்ணும்போது உடன் ஐட்டம் பண்ணும்போது அந்த வுட் லாக் நீங்க இது பண்ணும்போது ஒரு ஸ்கிராப் ஜென்ரேட் ஆகுது. அது வந்து நார்மல் ஸ்கிராப். I don't think you can control that. But there is something again called an abnormal scrap. As you said, poor handling, poor maintenance, nothing for a scrap generate. Normally, scrap has got a value. Wastage normally value, but scrap there is a value normally. So, in the scrap or a value when you either you net it off against the material cost. For very good example, I'll tell you, newspaper வாங்குறோம். நியூஸ்பேப்பர் வாங்குறோம். நீங்களாம் நியூஸ்பேப்பர் வாங்குறீங்களா? எல்லாரும் வாங்குறீங்க. சோ மாசம் நியூஸ் பேப்பர் காஸ்ட் ஒரு 100 ரூபாய் 200 ரூபாய் ஆகுது உங்களுக்கு. அதை நீங்க நியூஸ் பேப்பர் வாசல்ல போட்டீங்கன்னா ஒரு 50 ரூபாய் கிடைக்கும். அப்போ நெட்டா நியூஸ் பேப்பர் காஸ்ட் உங்களுக்கு எவ்வளவு? இதுக்கும் நீங்க யாரும் வாயை திறக்க மாட்டீங்களா?
Total amount 150.
என்னமா? 200 minus 50 150. கரெக்ட்டா? சோ அதேதான் இங்க அக்கவுண்டிங்ல கான்செப்ட். ஒரு ஸ்கிராப் மெட்டீரியல் ஜெனரேட் ஆகும்போது அதோட வேல்யூ நம்ம நெட் ஆஃப் பண்ணணும் காஸ்ட்ல. That is one accounting mechanism. இன்னொன்னு வந்து the scrap whatever value you generate is shown as a miscellaneous income or other income. Understood? These are all the two ways in which you can reflect your value of scrap. So normal scrap, abnormal scrap. Abnormal scrap value should be transferred to costing P&L. Same rule. And who is generating scrap? Is it under control or not? Scrap on the no concept of normal, abnormal, I'll tell you before I miss it, is that normally you, by experience and past data, you will fix a percentage of loss. And typically, let us say, for example, 5% loss I anticipate, but you will get 8% loss. That extra 3% is referred as abnormal loss. Very, very important, dear students. And I process costing no topic the loss, abnormal loss. So, your anticipated loss is 5%, normal loss, because that's the nature of the material. But you actually end up with 8% loss. That 3% extra loss is called abnormal loss. So the abnormal loss has got two different meanings. One is a loss arising out of poor handling, poor way of dealing with things and controlling things. You break your material or you lose your material. That is called abnormal loss. Abnormal scrap. It can be abnormal scrap or abnormal wastage. Okay. So anything abnormal is always with respect to what is happening beyond normal. But other meaning to it is anything you fix a percentage of loss like 3% or 5%, and anything happening beyond that is abnormal. So have you understood? And here again, similar procedure we follow for control purposes. We identify the department responsible for normal scrap or abnormal scrap for that matter, particularly abnormal scrap, and ask them to control the abnormal scrap. And our particular department now the scrap rumba jastiya generator. Clear the answer. So other thing control pannona and the department you have to fix the responsibility. So the same rule will apply. Sometimes you may take the cost of abnormal scrap into cost of the relevant department as a part of the overheads of the relevant department. Then we have something called a spoilage. What is a spoilage? As the word before getting into spoilage, defectives. Defectives is something which is generated in the production process. Normally a product which comes out but it's defective. Or shirt பண்றாங்க manufacture பண்றாங்க அது ஒரே ஒரு இடத்துல ஒரு dot dot அது என்ன அது பேரு defective. இந்த defective stock நார்மலா இந்த second sales மாதிரி போட்டு dispose பண்ணுவாங்க. Sometimes the defective items can be rectified and sold. sometimes defective material rectify பண்றது is costly, so there's no point in doing it. As it is, they will sell it. So defectives, normal defectives, abnormal defectives. Normal defectives நேச்சுரலா வருது, அது அவாய்ட் பண்றது ரொம்ப ரொம்ப கஷ்டம். பட் அப்நார்மல்ங்கிறது உங்களுடைய ஹியூமன் எரர்னால வருது. So same procedure you have to follow, but I'm only explaining the meaning here. Difference புரியுறதா? Wastage, right? Wastage, then you have scrap, then you have defectives. Defectives is primarily the one which is not up to the quality standards and it's not QC passed. And you have two choices, either to rectify the defect or just to throw it. Sometimes it may so happen that you cannot rectify the defect, so you have to just throw it. Same issues, normal, abnormal, and abnormal items, cost of it should be transferred to costing P&L or identified to a responsibility center, and you need to fix the responsibility for that particular department which is creating this defective or because of which the defectives have been generated, and either you transfer it as overheads of that particular department. Then finally comes the spoilage part. The spoilage part is in the production process, the material can get spoiled, or even after finishing your product. Ice cream manufacturer spoilage நிறைய வரும். மில்க், டெய்ரி ஃபார்மிங் மில்க் பண்ணிட்டே இருப்பாங்க, ஒரு டெம்பரேச்சர் ஆர் இஷ்யூ வரும்போது தப்புன்னு ஸ்பாயில் ஆயிடும். நம்ம வீட்லயே பால் காய்ச்சும் போது என்ன ஆகும்? நீங்களாம் வீட்டுல பால் காய்ச்சுவீங்க இல்லையா? வீட்டுல பால் காய்ச்சும் போது என்ன ஆகும்? திடீர்னு நாளைக்கு பால் திரிஞ்சு போயிடும். அதுக்கு பேர் என்ன? அதுக்கு பேர் என்ன? Spoilage. It can happen in a production facility. So for some reason the metal gets spoiled, and again it could be normal, abnormal. Normal spoilage is anticipated spoilage because every production process will have a normal spoilage. But abnormal spoilage is something you have to control. Abnormal spoilage is something which happens because of, again, human error. Proper நீங்க வந்து இப்போ dairy farm, dairy, அதனால தான் hygiene and cleaning is very important in factories. ஒரு milk producer வந்து can he afford to have spoilage? என்ன ஒரு நீட்டா மெயின்டைன் பண்ணுவோம் அந்த ப்ரொடக்ஷன் லைனை, அதுல ஒரு இம்மி ப்ராப்ளம் இருந்ததுன்னா ஸ்பாயில் ஆயிடும். அவன் பாட்டு ஒரு டன் ஒரு 1000 liters ஆஃப் மில்க போட்டு ஏதோ ப்ராசஸ் பண்ணிட்டு இருக்கும்போது எங்கேயாவது ஒரு ஹைஜீன் இஷ்யூ வந்து ஏதாவது கண்டாமினேஷன் ஆச்சுன்னா அத்தனையும் போயிடும். ஹையஸ்ட் குவாலிட்டி கண்ட்ரோல். Correct? So the same thing applies for any product for that matter. Particularly we are talking about a food-based product. Non-food based இந்த கண்ட்ரோல்லாம் முக்கியம். ஸ்பாயிலேஜ், துணி தைச்சுட்டே இருக்கும்போது எங்கேயோ ஒரு பீஷர் வந்துட்டு இல்ல கட் பண்ணும்போது ப்ராப்ளம் ஆயிடுச்சுன்னா ஸ்பாயிலேஜ் போட வேண்டியது. Clear the difference, defectives and spoilage? All of you understood? So scrap, wastage, rather first wastage, scrap, spoilage, defectives and spoilage. இது எல்லாத்துக்கும் 4 ஆஸ்பெக்டும் நீங்க ஞாபகம் வச்சுக்கணும். மீனிங், கிளாசிபிகேஷன், அக்கௌண்டிங் ட்ரீட்மெண்ட், and then finally the responsibility. How to control it and how to fix responsibility. இந்த 4 ஆஸ்பெக்டும் உங்க ஆன்சர்ல வரணும். எக்ஸாம்ல கண்டிப்பா வரும். எக்ஸாம் ஹால்ல போய் நீங்க இன்னைக்கு கிளாஸ் தான் ஞாபகம் வரும் உங்களுக்கு. அப்ப மனசுல நினைச்சுப்பீங்க, சார் தேங்க்ஸ் சார், அந்த பேர் சொல்லி கொடுத்தீங்க, நான் ஜமாயிச்சிட்டேன் அந்த கொஸ்டின். இதெல்லாம் ஈஸி ஸ்கோரிங் ஏரியா. நமக்கு டஃப்பான ஏரியா எத்தனையோ இருக்கு, மார்க் வராத ஏரியா. அதை பத்தி எல்லாம் ஒரி பண்ணி கூடாது. எங்கேயே ஈஸியா நமக்கு ஸ்கோர் பண்றதுக்கும் ஆப்பர்ச்சுனிட்டி வரும், அங்க அடிச்சிடணும். அங்கேயும் நம்ம கோல் விட்டாதான் ஒண்ணுமே பண்ண முடியாது. டெஃபினட்டா ஒரு பேப்பர்ல 80-20 ரூல் மாதிரி தான். நான் கூட ஒரு தடவை சொன்ன வீடியோல 80% of the question paper will be easy only. 20% will be tough. That is how the professional exam is meant to be. நீங்க 100 மார்க்குக்கும் உங்க ஸ்கூல் மாதிரி எல்லாமே ப்ரெடிக்டடா ஒரு மார்க் கொஸ்டின் பேப்பர் வராது. ஸோ அதுல ஒரு வேரியேஷன் வரும். ஸோ இந்த தடவை 60% ஈஸி, 40% கஷ்டம். பட் அதுக்கு மேல கஷ்டமா கேட்கணும். எல்லா பேப்பரும் மொத்தமா கஷ்டமா கேட்க மாட்டாங்க. இன்ஃபேக்ட் எல்லா பேப்பரும் மொத்தமா கஷ்டமா கேட்டா நீங்க ஹாப்பியா வெளில வரலாம். ஏன்னா இன்ஸ்டியூட்லேயே தேல் கன்சிடர் என்னடா அது எல்லா பேப்பரும் டஃபா இருக்கு, எல்லாரும் ஃபெயில் ஆயிருக்காங்க, யாரும் 15 மார்க் தாண்டல, 20 மார்க் தாண்டல, இன்ஸ்டியூட்ல ஏதோ பண்ணிடுவாங்க, நீங்க ஒரி பண்ணிக்காதீங்க. அதெல்லாம் நான் உங்களுக்கு சொல்ல விரும்பல. பட் ரொம்ப கஷ்டம் பேப்பர்னா நீங்க ஜாலியா வரலாம், ரொம்ப கஷ்டம்பா, அதெல்லாம் எவன் மார்க் வாங்க, ஒத்தனை மார்க் வாங்க மாட்டான், இன்ஸ்டியூட்ல பாத்துப்பாங்க அப்படின்னு நீங்க வந்துடலாம். ஆனா அப்படி பண்ண மாட்டாங்க. ஸோ நாட் தட் தி என்டையர் பேப்பர் வில் பி டஃப் அண்ட் ஆல் தட். Yeah. So these are all the scoring areas. This topic on material is one of the best topic to score. இதுலலாம் விடவே கூடாது. 100% assurance வச்சுக்கணும். நீங்க 5 மார்க் 10 மார்க் வெயிட்டேஜ் மார்க் வாங்கியே ஆகணும் நீங்க. We have another 5 minutes or 10 minutes time. I will quickly take you through the past question paper, okay, and show you what type of question has been asked in this topic materials. Okay, fine. All of you
Just
clear?
one question, sir.
Yeah.
Regarding அந்த defectives சொன்னீங்களா சார்? So அந்த defectivesக்கு வந்து rectify பண்றதுக்கு some cost வரும்ல? So அந்த cost எப்படி அந்த profit அந்த unit of the இதுல மெட்டீரியல் வச்சிருவாங்களா இல்ல எப்படி சார்?
Good question. So normally நான் சொன்ன மாதிரி if a defective is due to a normal nature, the rectification cost will go to the product cost. ஏன்னா நான் சொன்னேன் இல்லையா, inherent to the nature of the product or material ஒரு defective வரதான் வாய்ப்பு இருக்கு. அதை நீங்க ரெக்டிஃபை பண்ணி தான் வித்தாகணும், வேற வழி கிடையாது. ஏன்னா ஒரு 100ல 10ல வரும் டிஃபெக்ட்ஸ், ஏன்னா அது நேச்சரே அப்படிதான். பட் அதோட காஸ்ட் நார்மலா இருக்கும்போது காஸ்ட் ஆஃப் ப்ராடக்ட்ல ஆட் பண்ணுங்க. பட் அப்நார்மல் டிஃபெக்டிவ்ஸ் வருது உங்களுடைய மிஸ்டேக்னால, அப்போ நீங்க காஸ்ட்ல எடுத்துக்கூடாது. then go to costing P&L. So the decision has to be taken by the management regarding whether it's a normal cost which can be absorbed by the product or something very abnormal. And anything abnormal, as I said, you cannot take it to the product cost. So உங்களுக்கு ஈஸியா இது புரியணும் அப்படின்னா என்ன பண்ணலாம் நீங்கன்னா, அப்நார்மலான்னு ஃபர்ஸ்ட் பாருங்க. அப்நார்மல் அப்படின்னா don't take it to cost, take it to P&L. If it's not abnormal, then you absorb in the product cost. Yeah, you may lose some profit on that, no doubt, but at least not that no ஒரு 100 ரூபாயில வந்து ஒரு 2 ரூபா ப்ராஃபிட் குறையும், பரவாயில்ல, at least you make some profits there. பட் அதை கொண்டு போய் நீங்க P&L எடுத்துன்னு போக முடியாது, அது ப்ராடக்ட் தான் அப்சார்ப் பண்ணும். Normal losses should be absorbed in the cost of the product. So determination of whether it's normal or abnormal becomes important. Okay, good. Any other doubts? Good. Any other doubts? Okay, shall we look at the previous question paper? Just give me a minute. It normally takes time to open up. I have some questions with me. Let me ask you that. We'll discuss that. There is something called bill of materials. Have you heard of that? Bill of materials. Bill of material is nothing but a list of material requirements given by the engineering departments to the purchase department. A bill of material or to stores department that is required for production. If your mother makes a list of provisions required for monthly family running, like that the production team will give a list of materials required for production purposes to the stores, or sometimes நீங்க பர்ச்சேஸ் பண்ணணும் அப்படின்னா அதுக்கு பர்ச்சேஸ் ரெக்விசிஷன் கொடுப்பாங்க. ஒரு ஸ்டாக் இல்ல, எனக்கு மெட்டீரியல் புதுசா வேணும் அப்படின்னா ப்ரொடக்ஷன் டீம் என்ன பண்ணுவாங்கன்னா பர்ச்சேஸ் ரெக்விசிஷன் கொடுப்பாங்க. இதெல்லாம் டேர்ம்ஸ் யூஸ்ட் இன் மெட்டீரியல்ஸ். ஓகே, பர்ச்சேஸ் ரெக்விசிஷன், பில் ஆஃப் மெட்டீரியல். ஸோ பில் ஆஃப் மெட்டீரியல் இஸ் தி லிஸ்ட் ஆஃப் மெட்டீரியல்ஸ் ரெக்வயர்ட் ஃபார் ப்ரொடக்ஷன் பேட்ச்னு வச்சுக்கோங்க. ப்ரொடக்ஷன் பேட்ச் given by engineering department or production department to the stores department. So stores department will sell that material to the production team. This is what we refer to as bill of material. Then there is something called material receipt report, MRR, or something like material receipt note, MRN. இதெல்லாம் வந்து என்ன, மெட்டீரியல் உங்களுக்கு ஃபேக்டரிக்குள்ள வரும்போது குவாலிட்டி செக் பண்ணி அதை அக்செப்ட் பண்ணி அதை ஒரு டாக்குமெண்ட் பண்ணும்போது அது பேர் மெட்டீரியல் ரிசீவ் நோட் ஆர் மெட்டீரியல் receipt report அப்படின்னு சொல்லுவோம். So each company they use different terminology, but broadly this is what is the meaning of it. Clear தாப்பா?
ஸ்கிரீன் ஷேரிங் பண்ணிருக்கீங்களா சார்?
என்னப்பா?
ஸ்கிரீன் ஷேரிங் பண்ணிருக்கீங்களா?
இல்ல, இன்னும் பண்ணல.
ஓகே.
This is a one question, example question. I'll tell you which of this is not a material control technique. Which of these is not a material control technique? 1, ABC analysis. 2, fixation of raw material levels. 3, maintaining stores ledger. 4, control over slow moving and non-moving items. Which of the following is not a material control technique? 1, ABC analysis. 2, fixation of raw material levels, pre-order level, etc. 3, maintaining stores ledger. 4, control over slow moving and non-moving items. Which of the following is not a control technique? Clear that? Which of the following is not a material control technique? Look at the wordings. ABC analysis, fixation of raw material levels, pre-order level, minimum level, maximum level, maintaining stores ledger, Control over slow moving or non-moving items. FSND analysis in the fast moving, slow moving, normal moving, dead stopping. So control over slow moving and non-moving items. The நாலுல எது வந்து not a technique? Any answers? Just think. I'll open the screen. Just a minute. I'll open the screen. I'm just taking you through the question paper. I'll share the screen. Just a minute. Okay, don't worry, because I think okay, so without getting into that, okay, I'm just seeing the question papers, but since we're running out of time, next class I'll keep that ready so that we can go through that. I'll show you the CMA paper, CMA objective type question paper. The base பண்ணி we'll discuss that also. So in the question can I answer உங்களுக்கு தெரியுமா? Control technique எது இந்த நாலுல எது control technique இல்ல அப்படிங்கறது கண்டுபிடிச்சிட்டீங்களா? It is very simple. It is Store's ledger. Store's ledger is not a control technique. Store's ledger is only a record. Okay, inventory management or record. Bin card or record. Store's ledger record. Continuous stocking. Technically, you are done a highlight பண்ணீங்க. Cost control technique ங்கிறதுல ABC analysis, FSND analysis அதெல்லாம் வரும். Slow moving, non-moving categorization, ABC analysis. இன்னொன்னு ஏதோ சொன்னீங்க. இதெல்லாம் வருது எல்லாமே டெக்னிக்ல வரும். So which is not a technique அப்படிங்கும்போது the answer is very, very simple. It is the Store's ledger. Okay, and dash or that portion of the process loss which can be converted into finished product by incurring more material and labor expenses. Dash or the portion of the process loss which can be converted into finished products by incurring more material and labor expenses. A, waste. B, scrap. C, spoilage. D, defectives. You have to incur more expenses to make it good and so on. Yeah, dash or that portion of the process loss which can be converted into finished product by incurring more material and labor expenses. A, waste. B, scrap. C, spoilage. D, defectives.
Defective, sir.
Defectives is the answer. Good. So, நம்ம defectives na என்ன discuss பண்ணோம்? You have to incur extra cost to rectify it and sell it and so on. By nature itself, you can generate defectives, but as you also asked a question, defectives ரொம்ப காஸ்ட்லியா இருந்தது அப்படின்னா காஸ்டிங் P&L கத்தன் பண்ணும். Otherwise, product costly absorb பண்ணும். So, incurring an extra cost to make a product good is defectives. So, these are all the type of questions. Lot of interesting questions are there. Only thing is, we need to have உங்களுக்கு இன்ஸ்டியூட் ஸ்டடி மெட்டீரியல் எடுத்துக்கோங்க, ஆர் ஃபார் தட் மேட்டர் கூகுள் சர்ச்ல போயிட்டு கொஸ்டின்ஸ் எல்லாம் பார்த்து ப்ராக்டிஸ் பண்ணிக்கோங்க. MCQ தான் நான் டிஸ்கஸ் பண்ணேன், டிஸ்கிரிப்டிவும் நான் டிஸ்கஸ் பண்றேன் நெக்ஸ்ட் கிளாஸ்ல. Okay, so kindly go through this lesson in detail in my video class also and come prepared. We'll discuss few question papers of the past exams. Then we'll go to the next topic on labor. Okay, good. So any other doubts at this point of time? All of you are clear? Okay.
Yes, sir.
Good, excellent. Once again, thank you all for joining for this class and making it interesting and effective. And thank you for your active participation. I always like it. Kindly cooperate like this and let us make the interactive sessions more lively and more good for all of us, so that we will be looking forward for every class. Okay, so tomorrow we'll have another session. I'll communicate to you. And then, as usual, during this week, I'll be informing you about the next. Mostly tomorrow we'll have financial accounting, wherein we'll continue with insurance claims, loss of profit policies. So I'll anyhow communicate that to you. And Wednesday, most probably, we'll have income tax class. So I'm trying to stick to a schedule like, so hope it goes well. And kindly, always, I'll request again, go through the video classes also. And that will enable you to understand things fully, completely. Okay. Thank you. Have a nice day. I'll catch up with you again in the next session. Take care. Bye.
Thanks, sir. Bye. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Bye. Take care.